Welcome to the Life Giving Leader Podcast. Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to the Life Giving Leader Podcast. I'm your host, I'm miming your host. I'm your host, Tyler Reagin, and it's been a few weeks. I apologize for that. As many of you know who've been following along, we have a nonprofit for pastors, and we had our second group of pastors start their year together. So we took off to St. George, Utah, and did UTV rides for a few days, and it was hot and beautiful and dusty and epic to hear these guys and watch them form community. And so that's what I've been up to. So I apologize for any delay on these episodes. I got a few coming to you this week. This is actually a bonus episode, so it's a little less about leading things you didn't start and more just a great interview with my longtime friend, Annie F. Downs. We went to college together. I can remember when Annie was a freshman at the University of Georgia at the Wesley Foundation. I think I was a junior or senior. I cannot remember, but it was really a joy to get to know her then and to watch what God has done through her obedience, through her faithfulness, and for her love for people. I'm pretty amazed to watch how she's gone from being an elementary school teacher or middle school, I forget, maybe he's in high school, but a teacher in Houston, Georgia, which is about probably an hour north of Atlanta in the middle of nowhere, to now being a very well-known podcaster, podcast network, author, New York Times Bestselling author. And, you know, those of us that have known Annie know that she loves people incredibly well. And so I was excited to get to interview her today for this episode. A couple of updates for you. This is June, and it's hard to believe my birthday is actually coming up, which is really fun. And I don't know, I was pretty overwhelmed with my buddy Josh Turner, as we sat around the campfire every night watching pastors share their hearts and their stories, and to hear stories of men, specifically in this situation, who have kind of had a lot of reasons to walk away from faith and who have instead chosen to lean in and make faith central to everything they do. And I'm just grateful to hear stories like that, even through pain, even through suffering, even through great things. And I was just reminded again of the importance of health, of the importance of community. And so for those of you who are listening and you might not feel like you have great community, then you got to go find it. You got to figure it out. You got to fight for it. You got to get engaged with some sort of community. If you haven't found a local church or a local expression of a place for you to work out your faith day in and day out, then you've got to do that. And I don't care how far you have to drive to find something that works for your space and your mind and your heart and your wiring, then you got to do that. And so that's just a reminder to all of us that community is mission critical to our development as believers. Acts 2 talks about that. It's not okay to grow your faith by yourself. Instead, it's Acts 2:42, right? That says the followers of Jesus basically devoted themselves to prayer and to breaking of bread and community and time together and taking care of people. I mean, it's a beautiful picture of how we have to have each other. And so Annie has been community for me for a long time. And so this bonus episode, I was really excited about getting to sit down with my longtime friend. Gosh, it's been 20 years now that we've known each other, I think. And really just an absolute joy and privilege to get to watch God do what he's done in her life. And so I'm super thankful for Annie. I'm super thankful for the ministry of which she continues to grow and the influence that she continues to steward. So without further ado, here's my conversation with my longtime Georgia Bulldog, Atlanta Falcon friend, Annie F. Downs. Welcome back to the Life Giving Leader Podcast, and this is a fun one, a little bonus episode for season 2. Annie, just so you know, I'm taking a little break from leading things you didn't start.
Yeah.
To just, you're too much of a longtime friend to not throw this in season 2. Like, come on, for crying out loud. So Annie F. Downs, I only know her as Annie Downs, but everybody else knows her as Annie F. Downs, is on the podcast. It's good to see you, my friend.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was always fun to get to talk to you, bud.
So do you ever, like we have a lot of mutual friends, we have a lot of connections, but the fact that we have like lifelong decades, of
Yeah.
friendship, Kevin Queen, and I was telling you I was with our pastor for years, Tom
Yeah.
Tanner, recently, and it's just kind of it's really cool because I don't have a lot of friends that have a lot of lifelong friends. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I mean, I feel like it's one of the gifts of the particular ministry that you and I grew up in
Yeah,
at UGA is that it really bred, for some reason, I don't know what they prayed, the ones before us. I don't know what they put into us while we were there, but it
yeah,
has certainly bred for me
yeah,
multiple friends that are in our industry, multiple friends that are still in my life that do
right,
totally different jobs. And
yeah.
I mean, I have the clearest memories of you and I going to Georgia football games together. I mean, I remember it very well.
And we're not going to talk about those memories because those are like, like
Hi.
I had some growing up to do. There were things. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we were 19. Everybody has grown up to do when they're 19. I'm grown up to do now and I'm 40, but I'm
See,
very grateful for that because you and I knowing each other then
right,
has built a trust
right,
in us now,
yeah, for sure,
and you can't replace that. You can build that with other people, but it has certainly been a gift
yeah.
as I've stepped into this career.
Yeah, for sure. So let's for people that don't know what's happened in your world lately or where you're at, give people a
Yeah.
little bit of a background of how you got to doing what you're doing now.
Yeah. So as we said, I went to Georgia. I studied early
Go
childhood
dogs!
education. Go dogs, sick 'em.
Golly.
And I thought I would teach school forever. I taught elementary school for about 5 years. And
In
meanwhile,
Houston, let's
in
be
Houston,
clear.
Hush that rhymes with push. I know, in Houston, and I just loved it. And in the timing of that, I was also volunteering with my church's St. James UMC with their youth group. And then
Yeah,
when I moved back to Atlanta, where my parents are, I was real involved with student ministry, and I started writing alongside my teaching. And
yeah,
as that progressed, it kind of got to a point where I had this opportunity to really jump in and try to make this a career, writing and traveling and speaking. And so this was in 2008. I moved to Nashville.
yeah,
My first book didn't come out till 2012. And so I've been writing for full time for almost a decade.
yeah.
That Sounds Fun, the book that came out in February, is my eighth.
That's
And
crazy, Annie.
I know, right? I know. It's wild.
Like
I think
I'm
so
over
too.
here, like in the fetal position after doing two. It's
Yeah.
like, but that's
Yeah. I mean,
incredible.
I've always had a lot of words, you know this.
Yeah.
So it's not
That's a
that's
fact. I didn't think about that. You just
that's
thought,
right.
I should take all these extra words. We're going to put them on a
Uh-huh.
piece of paper.
Uh-huh. And I joke with people. I like people always say to me, like, how have you written that many books? I was like, well, doctors do surgeries every day. I go to my job every day. I should turn out a lot of books. I'm working every day just like everybody else is.
That's
So,
fair.
so I don't I like that. This is the first book. This book is different. Done this one has done more than the
Yeah.
ones before it, but that's part of building a career for a decade. And it's
Yeah.
also, Christine Kane, our mutual friend, always says, God puts books in hands. And for some reason, the message of That Sounds Fun is reaching new hands that haven't
Yeah.
known me
Yeah.
before.
I love that. So and for you, the speaking has come out of the writing, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate trick of the whole thing is that it's very cyclical, right? Like
Right.
stages want you to have books want you to have platforms,
Yep.
so it's cyclical. But for me, they started around the same time. I mean, I was teaching at our mutual friend Corey Hallett was
Right.
sick one Sunday night when he was a youth pastor and I was a volunteer, and he asked if I could teach the lesson that night. And I was at the same time writing the curriculum for our high
Yeah.
school girls ministry. And so they kind of happened at the same time. But yes, they both feed into each other. I enjoy them both for different reasons,
Yeah.
but they definitely have led to each other.
Yeah. One thing before I want to get to the book as we go into this, because that's fun. But we have so many things that we could kind of talk about how God has done stuff in our lives.
Yeah.
But one of the things you and I both you're an Enneagram 7. Bob Goff said, if I'm not a 7, the test is wrong. I'm actually a 2. Like I'm a helper. That's
Oh, I
my
love it. Yeah.
that's where I live. And I got a lot of 7 in me. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But one of the challenges, Andy, even writing a book called That Sounds Fun and living in this fun persona, which is not fake. That's the beautiful part. That is
Right.
you. Like you
Yeah.
are. But what happens on those days when you're not feeling it? Like,
Yeah.
like, because I know, Carrie and I, this is our 20-year anniversary. That's insane.
That
Annie,
is
that's
insane.
insane.
I remember your wedding very well.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But like, there's days when she looks at me like, what's going on? Because I'm
Mm,
not that up, up high energy self. How
yeah.
have you managed that for you personally? Because we live in this space of our jobs. People expect us to be fun. What do you do on the
Yeah.
days that you're not feeling it?
Um, there are not often full days that I need to be on
Yeah.
and need to be the one throwing the party.
Yeah.
And so normally I can talk if I am not feeling it, if I'm feeling it, it's easy.
We're rolling.
If I'm not feeling it, I can talk myself into, um, go for it anyway. Fake
Yeah.
it till you make it a little bit.
Yeah.
Not in what I'm talking about, but just in the like, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night and I
Right.
feel tired today. But the thing is, that doesn't matter to the friends on the other side
Yep.
because they've had hard days too.
Yeah.
And so to me, it is tell the truth when you can,
Yeah.
when it's appropriate. If somebody's just I'm not married yet. So if somebody's just dumped me,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lead with like, hey, today's kind of hard because he broke up with me last night. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
But I can say, I mean, I've said from stage before.
Right.
I mean, I had a friend of mine, you probably know this story, but a friend of mine here in Nashville, I mean, I landed in Houston to speak and he had died here suddenly of a drug overdose. And when I got on stage that night, I didn't share that whole story. I didn't say what had happened. I said, there's a real sadness in my personal life. Everything I'm going to say tonight is true. I may cry a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's that balance of like that I've had to learn by doing it wrong,
Yeah.
I feel like the ability to be authentic and vulnerable is a wide river, but it does have banks.
That's right.
And I've hit both of them.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's the truth of, hey, I did not sleep good last night, but it still sounds fun talking to you about this and doing that, And so I think that's how you do it.
Yeah. We had I do this thing with pastors that me and a buddy started, and for similar reasons, we've lost friends to suicide. We've lost pastor friends to addiction. And today was our monthly call with them. And the guy that was speaking lost his mentor this morning. And so he just, same thing. He showed up and actually he said, this is the guy that taught me more about what I'm talking about today than ever. So that's not lost on me. It was just beautiful. But at the same time, we would just pause for a minute because he was upset and he would cry. And so, but I think that's, this, Annie, I think that's why a lot of people have love following you, because you're honest and you're real and you're fun. And so leading from that place. And so when you came out, you've been doing the podcast for, gosh, how long now?
2014. So we're starting our 7th year.
And never mind that now you've exploded it to a ridiculous number of networks, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
So That Sounds Fun was the podcast. And then you go, that's cool. Let's just make a book out of it. Like, talk me through that a little bit, because I think most people that don't write, they go, oh, and there is that common thing. Everybody's got a book in them. Sure. Yeah. Right. Not everybody does it. That's a fact. But how did this one come about for you? Because a lot of times it's a felt need. It's a this, that. I've been thinking about this a lot. How did this turn into a book?
Well, a funny thing that I bet a lot of our friends listening have seen happen is a publisher, especially in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
A publisher signs a book deal to a pastor, and that pastor, then they say to that pastor, and we're going to pay for your first season of your podcast. And it's going to have the same title as your book, which is fine and good. Yeah. It's a good thing. It's a great way to get your content across. The pastor, he or she is able to talk about it, have guests on. That's great. So a lot of times you're seeing books and podcasts match. I'm really telling you how they make the sausage, huh? So a lot of times you're seeing books.
Wait a second. Match. My publisher didn't do that. Dang it. They just expected me to pull it off. Oh, rats.
So the reason mine's the other way around.
Yeah.
Is I started the podcast because I love introducing my friends to my friends.
Yeah.
And what I love about writing for me is I get to process in a book what's going on 3 feet below the surface.
Yeah.
And so what my readers have gotten used to is, oh yeah, I remember that when that happened, I didn't know these things were going on behind it.
Yeah.
And so with That Sounds Fun, the book, what was happening is in every conversation I have on the podcast you've been on,
right.
The last question I ask is, because the show is called That Sounds Fun, what sounds fun to you?
Yeah.
And I was getting hundreds of answers. And so often, Tyler, people were leading with, I don't know if this will sound fun to you, or this may not sound fun, but, or I'm kind of embarrassed. And I was like, wait, why is shame attached to fun? And so then I was like, oh, I need to look at my own life. I need to look at some of these people's stories with them. And this actually needs to be something people can sit with for a couple of hours and think about for themselves, because we've attached, well, I don't know if I'd say the world has attached shame to fun, because fun actually is vulnerable and simple and innocent. And so the world is always, the enemy and the world is always trying to steal our innocence. And so they've attached, so that party has attached shame to fun. And I was like, oh, we're about to go after this. And so that's really why the book made sense after the podcast.
I love that. I'm not trying to bring it back to this, but it's connecting to it. But with 1010 Project and these pastors, we're taking them on. We knew we have to get them out of their day-to-day world. And go into a ballroom of a hotel ain't going to do that. They need to feel safe. So this first group, we took snowmobiling in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And it's freaking hard and it's freaking cold, and people are like, why do you have to go do that? I said, because they need to have fun.
Yes.
Have fun. When you have fun, that night it's easier to talk about what's going on in life. When I've had fun, when I have smile, even for my 20 years of doing creative and programming in churches and with Catalyst and whatnot, I learned this from Julie Arnold, my mentor, and she's the one that brought me on to North Point. She said, when we do services on Sunday, people need to smile.
Yeah.
Because they engage differently when they smile. Like it's just, I want people leaning in. Cirque du Soleil is the best at it. I'm leaning in versus leaning back. And that's a very, very incredible thing to do that. And the
other thing about snowboarding or snowmobiling that is really interesting that you had them do that is it actually really requires vulnerability to let go and have that much fun, and to risk your personal safety, to maybe jump your machine, jump up and you yell, to be dying laughing. I mean, it is why I think it's really funny when people go on dates to amusement parks. So I'm like, if you will ride on a roller coaster with that person and you don't know how your body's going to respond.
The noises.
Yes. And so what you're actually doing when you're inviting pastors to have fun together is you are opening the doors of vulnerability, where later you can walk in with words, but you've already opened the doors with actions.
So Annie, we've talked publicly about going to onsite and how much we love onsite.
We were there at the same time.
Which we did not know, which is amazing.
Great.
But wait, what are you doing here? And one of the most beautiful parts about the role playing that happens in the group therapy is oftentimes when the therapist realize there is shame, there is guilt, there's whatever, they will physically call somebody up to play that part.
Yeah.
How have you seen that? Like, that's such a helpful tool when you're talking about having fun and how that exposes us and it removes shame if we can. Talk about that a little bit, because that's what my mind went to when you talked about shame. Is I remember in one of our groups, somebody, like it was very present, but we weren't able to tangibly touch it yet. And so all of a sudden the therapist goes, no, hey, pick somebody to play shame. And they stood right there. Like, how do you use fun? How do you use this conversation? I know you're very intentional with your content. How do we do that to shine light on some of those spaces?
Yeah, I think that's what I mean, if you and I are just talking, but I know friends are listening, but that's what I love about this book. Is that it is fighting shame in people who don't believe everything we believe.
Yeah.
Right. And for people who may not know, that's why I tell people all the time, if you see it at Target and you're a Christian, just pray for it and walk away. Like, leave it for someone else. Call me, I'll mail you one, but leave it for somebody who doesn't know the Lord. Because what the cool thing that happens when we really let ourselves go into fun, it has been fascinating, Tyler, because as people are reading this book, I'm doing fun coaching on Instagram about once a week, where people ask questions and I kind of coach them through. Over and over, people say, I don't remember the last time I had fun. I don't know how to have fun. How do I do something and not be good at it?
Right.
What if I don't have time on my schedule because I'm not sure how to do this? All of it is saying, don't embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass your calendar. Don't embarrass your family. Don't embarrass yourself. And it is fascinating. And so what we get to do when we talk about fun,
Yeah.
and Lauren Daigle said this to me a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. She said, joy is the feeling and fun is the action. And that is like really stuck with me. This idea that like, yeah, if we will just get the train going down the fun tracks, joy will bubble up in us because we're fighting shame.
Yeah.
If we're choosing to have fun, if we're choosing to pursue something that requires a little vulnerability out of us, but it isn't hard. It's not like you have to sit around and cry with each other. Just like get on a roller coaster with someone, get on a snowmobile with someone, and realize that shame might be riding with you, and ask yourself why.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the funny things about being a 7 is we love escapism. I mean, if I can escape, I'm going to escape.
Right.
And so one of kind of my filters for whether you're having fun or whether you're escaping is what language you're using. So for example, escapism is if I could only.
Right.
If I could only go to the beach, if it was only summer, if I only had more money in the bank account, if we could only fly to Paris. That's very like, I want out of this. But the fun language is I can't wait to go to the beach. I can't wait to go to Paris.
Yeah.
Because it means like, I'm okay here, but I'm really looking forward to that.
Sure.
So when you hear that escapism, I even said to a friend the other day, I was like, sometimes when I hear the escapism, the big thing, and this is true about shame too.
Yeah.
The big thing is identifying it. You don't even have to fight it. I actually don't care if you fight it the first time. I just want you to say, the reason I'm eating all these Oreos is because I'm trying to escape, but eat on, sister.
Yeah.
Go for it. I don't care. I actually care far
Are
less.
they double stuffed? That is the question.
Every time. Have you tried those mega ones yet though?
Well, yeah, because it's all sugar. Is there sugar in mega? Then yes.
Yeah. I mean, I won't reject them, but I'm looking for double stuff. If I'm trying to escape, I'm looking for double stuff. But that's the thing is like, and I think this is true about Jesus. And maybe if we get yelled at, just email me at Annie@TylerReagin.com.
There you go. That account is phenomenal, by the way.
That for sure exists. I think Jesus cares more about our why than our what.
Yep.
I think the Lord cares far more about understanding my escapism than when I actually do it.
Yeah.
I think we need to run from sin. I don't think we need to engage in sin as best we can. But what I have found that brings more growth and depth in my relationship with God is when I pay attention to why I'm doing what I'm doing, not when I behavior modify.
Yeah. Well, and that's in leadership. I've led young leaders for a long time. And one of the things I've tried to coach a lot of young leaders through is this forever home mentality. You know, the HGTV, it's always like, hey, I'm building a forever home. First of all, I think that's just a ruse. Like, no, you're not. Like, you don't know. Right. But young leaders are getting crippled by the idea of making a bad decision.
Yeah.
Because, and I was coaching a guy just a little while ago, and I said, it's okay to say I want to. Like, but we in the Christian community have built this idea of going, what if I make the wrong decision? What if I have to be a martyr for God and he doesn't want me to do that? Okay. But if you're following him and you're giving him all you got, and all of a sudden 3 opportunities show up.
Yep.
Pick one that you want to do.
Yes.
Like, and oh, by the way, you're not going to do it for the next 50 years. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Right.
What if it stinks? Okay. We've all done that and we've moved on and we've learned from it. So I love that, Annie, because I think it's a leadership principle. And as I talk about leadership all the time, like that's exactly what happens. And there is a truth to, a lot of people have been asking me in the last month, how's the book going? And people that I'm close to, I'll say, it's going fine, I guess. I said, but I got to be real honest. It's been really an insecure season for me as a leader. Just because, a lot of people, I don't have a platform, quote unquote, to dangle in front of people anymore. And that's fine. I'm good with that. But this insecurity has come from, well, what do they think? And the stories that come up, just saying that out loud sheds light on it. Like we're talking about, it allows me to go, my friends go, just stop. But I just have to say it or I'll keep doing it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
How have you navigated? Because art's the only word I can come up with. But when you create art and hand it to somebody or content and hand it to somebody, people think that's amazing. You go, yeah, it stinks too, because I didn't write a super vulnerable book, but it's also me. Like writing.
Yes, you did. I think that there are parts of it that are really vulnerable that you wrote.
Well, sure, but you just put it out going, and how have you done that 8 times, Annie? Because, but let's take it to the bigger level. Not everybody's putting a book out, but how do you put yourself out there as a leader
Yeah.
knowing that you've got insecurities when it comes to it.
Yeah. What if I was like, I don't have any? So that's weird.
All right,
Yeah.
move on. Next subject.
Yeah, right. Well, first of all, I want you to know that I'm taking notes as you're talking because you are saying things to me that I need to hear. So I keep opening my pen and taking notes as you're teaching us. To me, the actual reason we are on the planet, the number one thing we get to do is share our lives with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I were joking before we started about like interacting with humans and how humans are the worst, but it's because I'm the worst, right? And I mean, I made a joke to my team about April Fools. I was like, please don't have any April Fools jokes on me because you will see the worst version of me. And I'm tired of spending 40 April Fools apologizing for my actual self. Right. Like,
by the way, I'm going to tell you one of the best April Fool's jokes that's ever happened when we get
great.
close to the end of this.
Oh, great. Don't forget. Cross your fingers so you don't
It's
forget.
my dad's entire MO. It's his favorite holiday of the year every year.
I hate it so much because of what it brings out in me, because all of a sudden I become this raging lunatic of anger because something went sideways. Yep. And then everybody else knows you're kidding. The worst. So to me, the reason we are on this planet is to share our lives with each other, to invite each other in. Our mutual friend, John Acuff, always says, give the gift of going second. Yep. Go first if you can go first. And so I'm changed because of the people who told me their stories. Yeah. Whether it was reading a book like Christy by Catherine Marshall, which was about teaching elementary school, or whether it's someone getting up and teaching in front of me, or someone giving a prophetic word directly to me, or me hearing someone on a podcast talk about what they had been through. I don't love it all the time. I have tons of it. I mean, there's one interview I did a couple of years ago, and I still don't like getting feedback about it. Yeah. Because it still feels so tender to me. So even if I see the title of that podcast come across an email or a DM, I don't even finish it because I'm like, that still feels so tender to me. I understand I went first, so you have permission to go second. Sure. But I can't get your feedback on my story.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's tough.
It. I think we get to give the gift of going second, especially, I mean, so many leaders listening to us now are so many different ages, but if you're around our age, it is our turn. Yeah. I mean, it's been our turn, but it's really our turn.
Yeah. And Annie, I'll be honest, like, when I stepped out of Catalyst, I just needed some time just to work, and I was okay not putting my head above water. And I probably would have shut down social media if I didn't have a book coming out. That won't work. But I remember when I lost Darren Patrick to suicide, and that weekend, my spirit was very unsettled. Mm-hmm. And I felt like the Lord said to me, "You've buried the talent." And the truth is, I did it intentionally. And I was okay with it. Yeah. But I knew at that point, God was saying, we're not done. You've got stuff to do. And, but for me, it's what you're talking, like, sometimes diving into that trauma, diving into those deep things. And you're like, I don't really, like, I'm good. I kind of don't want to go there because it's harder. Right. It's just harder. And the spiritual warfare that comes with it. And when you step out there every time, Annie, we live in a cancel culture. We live in this space where, people are like, you say the one wrong thing and it's like, we're done. And then then everybody gets mad because you don't say anything. And you're like, we're living in this like ridiculous, crazy cycle. And yet you keep showing up, Annie. And that's one of the things I'm crazy proud of you about as a friend. Like you keep loving people well, and you keep doing that because you're fighting for that. You're fighting for them. You're fighting for their spirits. Why haven't you stopped doing that when it's this hard sometimes?
My team doesn't let me, is the actual truth. Yeah. The days I want to quit, I just say it. Yeah. I mean, a couple of years ago, 2 of my friends were misbehaving and got in trouble publicly. Yeah. I've never gotten yelled at like I got yelled at for knowing them. I mean, I've never had the kind of vitriol I experienced because I was friends with people I know who were misbehaving. And I just thought, I can't do this. And so I turned my phone off for those 2. They were pretty close back to back. And so I did walk away from the internet for the weekend, both times. I can't promise you I won't walk away from the internet again at some point, like to me.
Well, but there's a difference, Annie, between walking away from the internet and people. Yeah. You don't walk away from people.
No.
I know you. And that that is because there's a deep calling in you that's overflowing that
Yeah.
you've said yes to. And the beautiful part is there's a lot of people that have been called to those things and they haven't been faithful to be constant. And
Mm.
you've done that. And that's why I'm asking, like, because people need to know that you're coming for them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that I'm
Yeah.
with you. And I think that's one of the things that you
Yeah.
constantly are doing for people is you're
Right.
showing them hope in the midst of like, hey, listen, this week sucked. This stuff we're dealing with in the culture sucks. But guess what? I'm choosing a different
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really kind of you. And I will tell you, I mean, the biggest when I think about that story of the sailors who it's not a true story, but the sailors who tied themselves to the masts
Yeah.
so the siren women wouldn't like get them to jump overboard or whatever.
Sure.
I would tell you in a cancel culture world where those sirens are give up on this ministry, give up on this calling. There's
Right.
an easier thing you can be doing. You can go back to teaching school, which is not easy. I'm not
That's
saying
right.
that's an easy job. I'm saying that's not what I'm called to
That's
today.
right. Yep.
So that's a thing I can go back to as a fallback where it is someone else's brave next step. I
Yep.
recognize that. That is not
Yeah.
to speak anything but total honor to teachers. But for me, it would be stepping away from what I'm called to right now.
Yep.
The thing that ties me to the mast of this ministry are the people around me.
Yep.
The ones if you can picture me being up against the mast of a ship and just all these arms holding me to it.
Sure.
And that's what it is. It's the yous in my life. It's the Brad Lomanicks in my life. It's the people who sit in my office every day.
Yeah.
It's my manager. It's my agent. It's my friends. I mean, it's all these people. At the end of that sounds fun. And like acknowledgments, I said to my friends and family, thank you for learning me
Yeah.
when I write books. You've
Yeah.
learned how to hold me when I write books.
Yeah.
And that's why you've got to have people, no matter how your leadership is.
Yeah.
I think this is true for me and Pastor Kevin at Queen at
Yeah.
Crosspoint, is that you've just got to have people that do not care what you do for a living and do not care how many people follow you on Instagram and do not care how your products. I have the sweetest group of friends that will, and I think most people's spouses are like this too. I'm just
Yeah.
still in line for that. But I think the sweetest thing my friends can do is say, we're so proud of you
Yeah.
for the hard work you're doing, but also, okay,
Right.
like, great.
Yeah.
We're so proud of you. When my girlfriends took me to dinner, one of my buddies took me to dinner.
Yeah.
When I hit New York Times, none of them are deciding how they feel about me because of how
No.
That Sounds Fun did.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It right about a week or two, and you'll totally get this, but a week or two before the book came out, my publicist from the publisher called me and she said, "Hey, it's been really quiet. A lot of people haven't responded." Because the only marketing style apparently for publishing is getting on people's podcasts. And so and I just looked at her and I said, "Hey, here's something you don't know that I know." And I mentioned this a minute ago. I don't have a thing anymore that people go, "Oh, well, I'll have you on because therefore that could put me in line to be
Oh,
on
God.
stage at Catalyst."
Do you
That
think
could
that's real?
it's 100% real. Because and I say that not like I'm weird about it. I just say like I've embraced like it's a thing. And so, but I say that because Annie, I know who my friends are.
Right.
At the end of the day, I know who my friends are. I knew who my friends were when I was leading Catalyst.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I knew the ones that were coming to the green room
We're
that
the
were
same
my
people.
they were my friends because of what I was
Yeah.
potentially stewarding for on their behalf. And I know that sounds icky and I know it sounds gross, but there's a realness to the fact.
Mhm.
It's my point in saying like my accolades or my director or the stage that I have access to, that's not what my friends care about.
Mm.
Our friend and longtime, Steve Hambrick's one of my best friends in the world. We've had hours of texting and calls today, just processing life together.
Yeah.
Steve doesn't give a rip. He gives a rip because I care.
That's right.
But he doesn't give a rip of what numbers look like or anything like that. He's going to show up
Right.
every day that I need him to show up. And so what I think is beautiful about the podcast, Annie, and you continuing to write, is even the people that don't know you like I know you, they feel like they do.
Mm.
And so the beautiful part is going, my friend Andy, Andy, that almost sounds like Andy.
Right.
My friend Annie just cared for me today.
Mm.
Well, Oh, you know Annie? No, I don't know her.
Yeah,
Right?
I know.
That's a
That's sweet.
win-win. I
I
think the
know.
greatest compliment I've ever been given was from our friend Carlos, who's on your stinking podcast network
Yeah, he's
now.
on the network.
He read the first book, the first person I knew that read it that didn't have to, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I said,
yeah,
"Hey, what'd you think?" He goes, "I felt like I was sitting at the table when you were talking about leadership."
yes, yes.
And I would say the same thing for you. Like when people get to know you in person versus podcast Andy, there's not a discrepancy.
Oh,
And
thank
that
you.
to me is consistency, which equals integrity. And
That
so
means a
I
lot.
love
Thank
that. Hey,
you.
there's a practical thing you talk about that I think is so valuable in the book, in the conversation, is hobbies.
Yeah.
Years ago, I heard Sam Chan say that stress is going to relieve itself. Either you choose where it goes or it chooses. And when it chooses, you lose.
Woo.
Um, so it's like Ramsey and budget, right? Like money's
Yep.
going to go somewhere.
Yep.
That's why hobbies matter so much to me. And I'm
Yep.
always pushing leaders to go, like, you know me well enough. What are my hobbies, Annie?
Golf.
Yeah. I
Golf.
mean, like,
Yeah.
and Georgia football, like
And
those
Georgia
are
football. That's
our,
right.
those
Go
are,
dog, sick 'em.
but
Right.
I play golf because it takes my mind off of work. Why
Yeah.
do you push hobbies on people as such an important part of fun and just bringing life to themselves?
Yeah, I actually think it's kind of a spiritual discipline,
Yeah.
honestly, because we make space in our lives for every single thing that makes us healthier.
Yep.
Right? We will, whether it's working out or how everybody's going to sleep every night. You're going to make time to sleep every night. You're going to eat every day unless you're fasting. You are going to, you're going to work out. You're going to be outside. You're going to see friends and family. You're doing all the things. You're going to open your Bible.
Yep.
You're going to go to church on Sunday. You're doing all the things that you think are required for a healthy life. And I just really think fun plays into that.
100%.
And I think that what hobbies do, Matt Chandler says this. He says, if you work with your mind, Sabbath with your hands, which
Yep.
is exactly what you do with golf. And if you work with your hands, if you're a doctor or a builder or a professional athlete, Sabbath with your mind, read, sit and think, listen to music, like relieve your body from the work and let your brain help you rest. Whereas for you and I, a lot of our work is doing this.
Yeah.
So a lot of my resting is relieving my mind and activating my body.
Yeah.
And so I just think, I think
good.
that's where hobbies come in, is that we need to, just like we want to build a long, healthy life. Pastor Kevin says, I know who I want to be when I'm 80. I want to be a husband to this wife. I want to be friends with my children, and I want to be a pastor. And so I'm deciding that every day. John Mark Comer says, you don't pick who you're going to be when you're 80,
Right.
You're picking it now.
Yep.
And I just think to build in hobbies, and scrolling is not a hobby. I'm sorry to tell everyone that does not count looking through Instagram or Pinterest, but to actually have a hobby or two, things that you do that you don't have to be good at, that you don't have to be professional, that don't have to be income driven. We were even sitting around their table, and one of the girls was talking here at the office. One of the girls was saying, I was playing tennis yesterday and I can't quit thinking about why I lost that match. And one of the other girls said, I think you need to find a hobby that you can't win. And I was like, oh, that's it. That's it. We need hobbies we can't win at, you know? And so I just think it matters so deeply to have things that you do that are just for enjoyment.
Yep. So Carlos's podcast is called Human Hope. Is that right?
Yeah.
You guys are hope dealers, and I believe that's what the church is called to in this crazy season. What are you most excited about as you look specifically for the church and for leaders as we're stepping into a new season of craziness after a season of craziness? Like, what are you most excited about, Annie?
You know, I'm on the teaching team at Crosspoint Church, so I do have a pretty unique view of and a deep passion for my local faith community. I am all the way invested in what our church is doing for our community. And then the global church is who I get to hear from a lot. Right. And I'll tell you what's been interesting, Ty, is that it feels like we spent the last year running out of energy and running out of hope. And John Eldredge talks about it a lot. If you aren't listening to his podcast, I would totally suggest people go listen to his podcast, because he's talking about what COVID brain is and how we're low on our reserves. And he said to me, how do you feel like you're doing after the pandemic? I was like, well, I kind of feel like I'm back to normal. I kind of feel like we're getting there. And he was like, if another one started today, and I was like, don't even, he said, that's it. Our reserves are empty.
That's right.
You had reserves a year ago.
Right.
You have no reserves now. But I'll tell you the thing I'm seeing that gives me a lot of hope is people feel like, whether it's true or not, people feel like because the days are getting longer, because people are getting vaccinated, and because things are back on our calendar, there's a renewed hope.
Absolutely.
And what we get to teach to our people in church, what leaders get to share either from a stage on Sunday morning or in your book or in your podcast or in your blog post or on your Instagram, is we get to say this thing you feel, this thing you finally feel, you actually can have anytime. Let's actually teach you how to feel this in the winter, because there's a deeper hope here that we can tap into. And all this excitement you're feeling because you got your second shot, and because you got a ticket to the Braves game, and because it's 8:00 at night and the sun's still up, that actually can be year round. And so I think that's what we get to step into next, is how do you actually hold on to this hope that has suddenly shown up because it feels like things are getting better.
And honestly, you know this, but that's why I went to Onsite, is I'd built habits of believing in scarcity versus abundance. And I grew up with that. And I was tired of tripping on that concept of scarcity. And that's kind of what we're talking about, which is I actually really believe in an abundant God. I believe he's abundant in our leadership. I believe he's abundant for me. I actually believe he wants me to have fun in my life.
Yes.
It's a crazy thought. But, so, okay, a couple lightning questions for you. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Favorite movie of all time?
You've Got Mail.
That fast?
Yeah.
Like it's just straight up your favorite.
You said lightning. I believed you.
Every pastor I do this with, they just they go in these long,
they all say Braveheart.
all long.
I know what they all
or
say.
Gladiator, right? And then they're like, but I don't like the violence. Favorite. Okay, so you've been open about, you've said it a couple of times, being single. What's some advice that you've had that you would give someone who's single, who's wrestling with that right now, that's been really helpful for you in this season?
Yeah, I think a good thing to remember, and I know this sounds silly, but there's only certain things you can control. And none of our friends fell in love and got married because of what they were able to control. And so I can have Invisalign and straighten up my teeth. I can't control someone else falling in love with me. So
that's right.
The best I can for myself.
And
I have built a really fun life. That has space for someone to step in and partner with me in. And I feel the healthiest I've ever felt in this, because I think you can come along and we're going to have a great time. If you don't, God and I have built a really beautiful life.
We're good.
And so I feel like I'm in the best place I've been in.
I love it.
No matter what God has for me next.
Well, I'm always looking for somebody for that somebody to fill that space for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, and the truth is, like, I broke up with my wife twice, and and I still can't tell you why. So, all right, last one.
Okay.
If you could only listen to one band for the rest of this year, that's all you can listen to.
Yep.
Who is it?
Mumford and Sons.
Come on, that's strong. Good choice.
Always. Yeah. I feel like they are chaos to cosmos kind of writers and performers, and they are doing gospel work all the time without putting that title on it. I mean, they don't, there's some language warning sometimes, but I think the heart behind a lot of what
they're very real.
Yeah, is very gospel. Can I say one more thing about podcasting though?
You can.
And you can keep it or cut it. But for any of us that are making podcasts, when you said people aren't having you on because of your platform, I think you may be right, and that's terrible. But the healthiest podcasters I'm friends with do not pick guests based on their platform. They pick guests based on the need of the listener.
100%.
And so if you're a podcast maker, look at your year as, what does my listener need?
That's right.
And fill in the guest as that becomes true. And because guests don't build your platform, you build it.
That's right.
Guests don't build your audience. I have Jennifer Garner on, right? Jennifer Garner.
Alias. Let's go.
Sydney Bristow. Do you want to know how many extra listens I had? Hardly any. Doesn't matter. She did not, it is not her job to build my tribe I'm in charge of discipling through the podcast.
Right.
And so I just wanted to say to podcast creators, Don't pick people based on what they can bring you. That is not their job. You are making a show for the people that God has entrusted to you. Bring the audience or bring the guests that are going to help your people. Don't bring the guests because of their audience.
That's correct.
When you and I have books released, we do 30 podcast interviews. I can't share all 30 of those.
Right.
I can't bring you my audience. You're bringing me on your show, whoever the podcaster is.
Yep.
You think that your audience and I have a conversation to have.
Yep. Well, that's
my soapbox about audiences.
That's beautiful though. That's and again, I just tell that as going, there is some realness when what you're saying is I know who my friends are, like, and that's okay. Right. Like that's the when I was at Catalyst, I used to say, guys, the order has to be right. It is not how big is their platform, what book do they have, how much attention do they garner?
Yes.
It is, what is God asking? What has he burdened us to say?
Yes.
And who are the voices that are going to do that best? And I don't care if they have a book coming out. Yes. And so I couldn't agree with you more, Annie. Yeah. And I appreciate you saying that. So anyway, where can, books out, they can find that places, but how do they keep up with your world? Because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. You're very kind. And thanks for having me on. I'm very thankful. I am embarrassingly easy to find. I'm Annie F. Downs everywhere because there's another Annie Downs who's a famous quilter. And so
still my favorite part of this entire story.
Oh, silly. I know. And so Annie F. Downs, F like fun. That's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the places. And then the book, That Sounds Fun, is at your local bookstore is always my first stop, but you can go online and get it as well.
Yeah.
And the podcast, That Sounds Fun, comes out. We do a couple of shows a week.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it so much. It's so fun. And then the network, which is really fun, is just a collection of shows that I think we call it an amusement park. Yeah. So there's a bunch of different rides, but we think if you came in the gate, you'll like all the rides.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can find all those shows at thatsoundsfunnetwork.com.
I love it. Hey, I'm proud of you, Annie. And it's just good to see you. And sometimes I hate not seeing friends for a long time, but it's good to see you. And hopefully when I'm in Nashville soon, we get to hang out.
Please. I would love that. Please tell your wife hi for me.
I will. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Sick 'em. Let's go.
So good, Annie, and I'm so thankful for our time together. If you want to follow Annie on social media, it's at Annie F. Downs. And then That Sounds Fun Network is exploding. There's a bunch of friends that have podcasts on there now. Her podcast, That Sounds Fun, is incredible. And so if you want to check those out, again, search them up wherever you listen to your podcast, That Sounds Fun, and you'll find the network and everything else. And again, Annie is an incredible leader. Her newest book, That Sounds Fun, that's based on all of this. I cannot believe it. I'm so proud of her. Hit the New York Times. And so congratulations to my friend. If you haven't read any of her stuff, please do. If you have young girls, like teenage girls, she's got her early writing was for young adult or young teenage females, and it was incredible. And so to watch God, again, take her willingness and her obedience and do amazing things with it has been awesome. So keep in mind, this is a great bonus episode. We're super excited to be able to bring this to you and continue to kind of plan and program for the future of this podcast. We've had a lot of good energy and excitement. So we'll just keep you posted on what's coming up. So thanks for listening to the Life Giving Leader podcast, and we'll see you next time.